Alright YouTube, what is going on? It is ConflctNerd Callum here today, bringing you episode number 6 of my Project Highrise series. In today's video we've got a lot to do, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about the changes I've made first of all. Then we're going to go ahead and we're sort of starting to deal with an issue which has arisen that I wanted to go ahead and change the layout of the building, but I can't. And I was about to go ahead and put in a solution by building lots of large offices, but I've realised that we need to go ahead and build medium offices first, to go ahead and deal with first of all our current challenge, industry diversification, but we also need to go ahead and build medium offices to actually just increase the amount of, for example, accounting offices, or, you know, in general just pluck those numbers up. That's really what I want to do. And I want to go ahead and try and make myself get closer to some more unlocks. Now we have a lot of money, which is a great thing, so that shouldn't really be a limitation. So the first thing is I've gone ahead and reverted one or two changes I made in episode 4, I believe it was. So we went ahead and moved up courier services, printing services onto the first floor. We removed them all off the ground floor. However, we are needing to go ahead and in the future add in much more restaurants and a larger diversification of different food, restaurants, cafes, whatever that may be. And I was thinking, the prime real estate is literally the ground and first floor. And I thought, you know what, even though it's maybe ideal for the workers to go ahead and be closer to the offices, it doesn't really actually benefit me or the overall money situation that much. So I thought, we should probably go ahead and actually have restaurants and that sort of stuff in these locations. So as you can see, all of our office services have, or the majority of them at least, have moved down into the basements for the time being. And that might change. Again, it depends how things really go here, but I think that we're going to stick with that for the time being. So the first thing I want to do this episode is start off by adding in some more art. So that's simply what I'm going to do. So I want to add in a sculpture there, and then I want to go ahead and... is that all I can add in? Can I get in anything else? I want to try and get something different. So 2 sculptures, then we've got these... whatever that is, and put in one of those, whatever that is. So that's me gone ahead and increased, I believe now we're on to 7 stars some artwork alone, which is good. And we spent like 17,000 there, which is quite a lot of money. The next thing I want to do is go ahead and I want to fill in this gap. And I'm also going to go ahead and deal with the renovation issues shortly, because I have a solution all long last. So the first thing is we're going to jump in here and we're going to go for more eating, and I want to go ahead and try get some better eating facilities in here. So what we're going to do on this floor here is we're going to have a large restaurant going here. So, we could actually, or bars, now that's one thing, brunch spots. So these are, they require different kinds of prestiges. I'm just trying to think here. So we need TV and we need gas, and those are things that we don't have, but I'm willing to go ahead and put that in. So that's going to give us quite a bit of money in rent per day, but you require trash bins on this floor. Now, do we have trash bins? Not yet, but we can easily go ahead and put them in, no problem at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stick that in here, and then we're going to work towards building the required various different things, I guess, for the sports bar. So the first thing we need to do is go ahead and we've got electricity, that's good. This is my first TV cable room thing, whatever, which is good. So we're going to go ahead and add one of those in there. So that's us now got it into the building. So let's go ahead and build a TV cable line right across there, which will connect up to the bar. Then we also need to go ahead and have water in this floor as well. So we'll go ahead and extend a water pipe right along there, and just like so. And then this is also going to be our first gas adventure as well, which is interesting. So we're going to get this in. We'll just go ahead and stick it in along here in this corner here. So that works out very similar to water and everything else really. And that is all the facilities required for this. Now we do need, I mean, it's in a high traffic area, which is good, and it's close to an elevator, which is a win-win. However, we do need to go ahead and add in some recycling facilities to finish up. Now what I'm going to do is something a little bit controversial. I'm going to add in a recycling area just there, and I'm also going to add one in there just to fill in the empty gaps, because those empty gaps are kind of pissing me off, not going to lie. Then what we're going to do away at the end here is we're going to add in just a normal bin, so that meets that desired needs, even though you can't actually get to the bin on that floor without going down or up a floor, because at our lobby area, which a user pointed out it should probably be at the front door, and yes, I realise that, this is double floored, so essentially you can't, it doesn't really work. You'd have to go down the floor, then a long line back up the floor to use the bin, so that's where the game, I mean, these are such minor technicalities when you really think about it, but going ahead, and if you want to make, or you want to be very specific, like I'm being, then you need to go ahead and code that stuff in. That's really the bottom line. Right, so I want to jump into Buzz, because we've not been in Buzz in absolutely ages, so a lot of these things cost a lot more Buzz than they used to, so we've got so much different choices here. So office construction costs 50% less, stuff like this we really need to start using today. Actually, that's one thing, I'm going to go ahead and increase the satisfaction, because if I'm right in saying the general mood is not good, it's because people feel they're paying too high rent, and I would totally agree with them, to be honest, it really does, but going ahead and adding in stuff like this will hopefully start to go ahead and change the mindset. Right, so the next thing I want to do is jump into building staff while we're here. So I want to go ahead and add in a larger construction area. So right now we have two guys which work on construction. These guys here, I think it's our original Don and... who are you? Don and Joe. So Don and Joe are our OG builders. However, we've got a larger construction area now, which is costing us a little bit more money. But, oh, you don't even cost money per day, so we'll just leave you in. But we've got 2 extra workers in here, which is good. Now, the larger thing, or more important thing I want to do is go ahead and add in a large maintenance office, because this would allow us to do renovations automatically. As we can see, this pizza place is not looking the best just because of the grime on the roof, as you can see it better there actually. And every single time, every few minutes, you're probably noticing me, I have to keep coming into the maintenance office and do all of the renovations, but it's something which I'd rather avoid. So I want to go ahead and get this, and this large maintenance office will allow me to do that. Except we need a consultant upgrade, we need to optimize maintenance. Now, we are not that, well we could, yeah we can get it, there we go. And then I can get the elevator one as well. Right, something strange. I know why, yep, right, ignore some of the stuff I said at the start of the episode, because I've just cheated the game, and I'll explain why in a second, but we can go ahead and add in one of these bad boys, and this means that we can go ahead and should be able to do maintenance automatically, yeah, so automatically do renovations, and we're going to go ahead and get rid of this office here, because there's no really longer need for you, and that does cost money per day, I do know that for sure. So you guys are based down here, and auto renovation is on, so that means that should just be getting charged straight away. I'm not really at all sure why it is. Might be a thing that triggers at midnight or a certain time, that would logically make sense. Right, so with that done, we can go ahead and speak about how I've sort of cheated the game there. So I've gone ahead and I've used a lot of my influence up, which is not maybe the best thing I should have done, but I really wanted to get myself, and if you've seen the last episode of this series, I wanted to go ahead and get myself exclusive elevators, and the reason for that is because it would allow me to go ahead and change the layout of this building. And what I mean by that is I could adjust the elevator shafts so that they wouldn't be where they currently are, but I couldn't do that without having that final exclusive elevator straight unlocked. Now, I managed to cheat the system because I built a large office, but I didn't actually put anything into it. So I really did quite well on that fact. So what I want to do now is I'm going to go ahead and go back to the original plan which I said I wanted to do in the last episode, which is to go ahead and adjust the layout of this building. So if we look at this here, we're at floor 11 right now. So if we jump in here, I've got this now, which is great. So I can go ahead and move the elevators around how I want them to, and that is basically what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to chop off some of these elevator shafts, and what I want to do, as I said, is I want to make these 2 floors, floor 11 and 12, into very similar to levels 0 and 1, I guess you could say. Floors which are like lobbies, like food areas and that sort of stuff, and that is how I'm going to start off building. But I also want to modify the elevators, and there is various reasons. So going up, oh, we also have deluxe apartments. Whoa, that's fancy. Maybe a bit too fancy for the time being. So what I want to do going upwards is I want to start doing specific floors though, that's the thing. Because we could start doing that very, very easily. But I'm not really at all sure. We're having a bit of a satisfaction issue all round, but if we go ahead and specifically look at the individual flats, you guys aren't bothered, but you guys have got a buffer zone between the noise of the elevator shaft. So look at the noise. To be honest, there's not really much noise. The only noise is around the food areas. So as long as you guys aren't on the same floor or there is at least a gap between food, then we should be okay. So that's something which we could get around. Traffic's my only worry, but traffic's not that bad up here, especially at this side of the building. That's the thing, because there's no entrance at this side, and I'm wanting to keep it that way for the time being at least. Right, so what I want to do is we're going to be going forward, we're going to be building medium offices. So I can get one in there, and then I can get one in there. But I really want to optimize this much better than that, so I'm just going to play around with some building layouts, I guess you could say, and see what I can come up with and see where I can try and get the best setup. Now, interestingly to note here, the automatic renovations have started, and that cost me $1,080 there, which is nice to see, but at least that system is now working. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, so this is the sort of idea that I have come up with. So it's a little bit different, and as we continue to go up, it's going to change as time goes on. It's difficult, that's the thing, it is really difficult. I can't have the consistent same layout which I would like to have. However, as we can see here, it's really important what's going on in the left and the right hand side. That's the most important thing to take away right now. The middle can be filled with anything, but the most important thing is the left and the right. So note we're going down at this stage to only 2 elevator shafts, so we'll see how this works. I might go ahead and continue you right up the middle. I've not decided yet. We'll see what we're going to put into the gaps in the middle. But to the right hand side, we're going for a bit larger. These are 2-bedroom flats or apartments, whatever you call them in your country. Allocated space for small 2-bedroom apartments. Now, I can only see 1 bed, so I'm a little bit confused right now about how this is going to work, but you guys require a little bit more. So as we can see here, you require electricity, a TV cable, water pipe hookup, prefers upper floors, likes being close to the elevators, and hates noisy areas. So we're close to all of them. Now, you expect trash and recycling on the same floor. Now, is that difficult? It's a little bit of a problem because I'm going to have to put this recycling area all the way over here, but it's still on the same floor. And I'm going to have to go ahead and accommodate, I'm going to have to basically put recycling in here, 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 and here as we go up. It's just the way the elevators work out, I can't have them cross over, so they're side by side here, which is okay, but I mean, this is where I'm talking about the inconsistencies, which I'm not the biggest fan of myself. Trust me, do not worry. But at the same time, I think that stuff like this is just going to happen to make this project work going forward. And we're also down quite a bit on profit as well, which I'm not happy about either. Then in here we have a small, or what will be a small food restaurant of some sort. Then we have a large restaurant of some sort, and then we're going to have another restaurant. I think this is a medium one. Then we have an office, then we'll have some more stuff. Then we have medium offices, which is about time we've gone ahead and implemented these, because we are completing this industry diversification today. Because we've had it going on for way too many episodes, and we are going to continue with getting a start on this. So let's go ahead and do some more building. So first of all, let me jump in, and we're going to need a lot of facilities up here. So let me go ahead and just start to, I'm just going to go ahead and pre-do this floor here of electricity. Then what we're going to need is we're at least going to need water, as you can see, and this is going to be a pattern as we continue up in the building. The towers are whatever they are, the plumbing closets, wire closets, towers, columns, whatever you may call them, they're not going to be in line anymore, and the same will be with the wiring one as well. As you can see, it's sort of jumped over. Again, not the best, but it will do. So I've added in water, and I've also added in electricity into that. Now, I'm a little bit concerned about the offices above and below, because you guys, you don't generally like noise, but I can go ahead and adjust those individual rents for those individual offices if it becomes a big deal. Yeah, I'm not really at all sure how big a deal it's going to be until we cross this bridge. So let's add in recycling there for that floor. Then before I forget, we're going to add in more recycling as we continue up here, and that'll work out fine. So with that done, I can actually start to move someone into this bedroom here, except you require some extra stuff, which we probably need to go ahead and build actually. So yeah, so you require a greater variety of small restaurants and a greater variety of small stores. That's what we're going to use these few floors for. So let's go ahead and build an Italian restaurant. You require a variety of different things, and then we'll go ahead and build a seafood restaurant, which we can't do because you require something else. What about Thai? Can't do that. Chinese, we can't do that. Right, okay, we need to go ahead and slow things down here. So let's go ahead and pause before you guys move out. Let's go ahead and see. We can maybe get something else in here as well. Let's get a burger shop in there as well, actually. I think that's a good idea. So what do you not have? You don't have water or you don't have gas right now. So let me jump into here and expand water. Probably keep going because I can imagine your neighbour's going to need water as well. And then same with the gas as well. Again, gas is something which is new this episode, but we'll have to go ahead and do that small connection there. Gas is something which I think we're going to start to get a lot more use out of. You obviously don't need gas for offices, but we're going to need it for... We're not going to go backwards, if you understand what I'm saying. So any of the basic offices and residential, we're not going to be building that anymore. We're going to go for more high-end stuff so we can go ahead and make this building just even more better day by day. Right, so that should go ahead and deal with that issue. So you should be happy. In general, it's difficult to tell when you've just built something, so that should solve that issue. Now, I really want to go ahead and get something else in here, but we're not really getting that option, so needs a greater variety of large stores, so that's what we need to go ahead and implement next. So medium stores, I've not even got any large stores in yet, that's probably half the problem, so we'll go ahead and add in 1, 2, 3, but that would definitely mean the elevator would have to move. We'll add in 2 on this floor for the time being, so, oh, we've got a variety here. Let's go for a fancy grocery store, which you don't require too much, but then there might be a little bit of a smelly issue here with the Italian being below you. And another wee small burger place as well. We'll go ahead and again see how we get on with that. We can go ahead and forcefully make people happy, or at least go ahead and help it out by reducing rent. That is the bottom line, we can really go ahead and do a lot of that. So what I now need to do is... The electricity is going to be jumping. Actually, before I do anything here, let's delete that. Let's just outright delete that because I need to go ahead and make sure we have our electricity closets continuing up here. Because if we miss that out, then the building isn't really going to be able to function. So I'm going to have to speed this up, let the builders do their thing, and go ahead and extend this further up. Right, so now that issue is sorted, which is good. So let's go ahead and get back to where we were at. So large store in there, that's just moved along a little bit just so I can have my wiring in. We've already gone ahead and pre-built some of the wiring. Essentially, I can... How much closer? So, yeah, we still need quite a lot of stuff. We've got so much to do. We really do have a lot to do here. So, let's go ahead and see if we can get in, again, one of you guys. I'll take the cheaper one, and the reason is because satisfaction worries me right now, and I'm not looking to milk as much money as I used to need. Money's not really much of an issue these days, which is good. So, how are we doing here? So, strange smell, and you also can't function with a phone line. Right, that's not really going to work at all, is it? How much does it cost me to cancel you? Quite a bit. So what we're going to have to do is... How are we going to get rid of the smell issue? That's the problem. We need to leave a gap. We need to leave an empty floor, which we can just have an empty floor of lounges, essentially. That's what we can do. So if we delete you there, we are going to solve this issue. It is just going to take us a while. But then at the same time, I probably want 2 stories of restaurants and eating facilities here. That's really what I want. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to continue expanding up for the time being. Then what I'm going to do is add in an elevator there and an elevator there. And this, at this stage, is wish I had more builders. I missed a word there. I definitely missed a word there, but I wish I had more builders. We actually have 5 builders, so things aren't going to be that bad. Right, how are we doing here? So, what do we need? And it's a greater variety, so it's that issue again. Right, so I think I've managed to go ahead and solve some of my issues here. So, again, I am wanting to make this place a relatively busy place. So, department store 1. So, you are going to go into here, or no, should we go fancy grocery? Let's go with fancy grocery, so let's implement that there. Then what I need to do is jump in and add a phone line before you start moaning. So, let's extend you along there and extend you along there like that. So that deals with that issue, so essentially you should be functioning. My worry is that you're not in a busy enough area and that we should have you lowered down. That is my only worry. Yes, I'm a bit unsure about that, but it's just going to be one of these things. So, let's go ahead and we can start getting you guys moving in. So you need a commercial printing service. That's what you guys need. So, we jump right the way down. It's some trek. The building is getting much bigger. We need a commercial printing service. So if we jump into here and commercial printing service, is there any gaps that you'd fit into nicely first of all? Not really, so I'll stick you in there for the time being, I think, so that works. So again, it is a bit of a trek, but that's not my concern. So we can actually go ahead and start to get some different offices in here. So hates noisy areas. See, that's going to be a little bit difficult, not going to lie, with, for example, you there. Right, is there any other offices which hates noisy areas? You also hate noisy areas. You hate noisy areas, prefers upper floors. I think we might need to go ahead and move this down. I'm not going to lie, but in general, you're quite happy. Right, we're going to give this a go. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So let's go ahead and get some. Let's start off with probably just do the legal chain. And that should hopefully go ahead and start to also work towards our industry diversification. So I'm literally, for all this, I'm going to need more phone lines. That's really the bottom line. I think that we're at the stage now that we're dealing with high-end customers, which are always going to require phone lines. If that's through retail, offices, or residential, it's going to require a phone line. Right, so are we much closer to you guys? The problem is, it's not actually... I need to deal with a greater variety of small restaurants now. So we've got a large restaurant in, and that works. And a greater variety of small stores. Okay, we can deal with this. We can make this work. So, let's go ahead and deal with our small stores one probably first. So, small stores are relatively easy to go ahead and deal with. Now, do you care about smell? Really, you don't. You honestly don't, which is good. So I can go ahead and put lots of these along this floor, and that acts as my buffer area, which is good. However, I think I'm wanting to have more food restaurants in this floor, so what we are going to do is we're going to add small stores in on this floor. So we can have 1, 2 in there, and that works out really well. And then let's have another 1, another 2, another 3, and then we can keep going with this elevator shaft, because that's what I think I'll do. I'll try and keep the central one, if I'm totally honest. Don't mind where the left and the right ones, how they move, if they are going to wiggle, which most likely they are, but I'd like to try and keep the center one as straight as possible. So let's go ahead and do that. Now again, is it realistic? I don't really know, but we'll have to cross that bridge as we reach it. So let's go ahead and add in some more small shops. You need a storeroom, so we need to go ahead and deal with that issue. So let's go ahead and pause, and let's go ahead and jump all the way down here. Now you need a phone line, understandable. So this is where it's starting to get a bit hectic if you're not starting to notice. It is really starting to get a little bit hectic. Right, so storage, so we need to go ahead and add in another one of you guys, and you guys fit in there quite well, so, and that'll give me an extra 4 shops, I believe, which is good because we only have 3 to go ahead and deal with. So books and magazines, I need to wait for that to get built, which is good, so there we go, so that works. Then a drugstore, we'll go ahead and add in one of you, that works. And then finally, we can go ahead and add in a flower store as well, we might as well, and that works like that. Surprised you don't need water. I would expect you guys to need water, I'm not gonna lie. We're starting to see a lot more traffic up at this end of the building, and we also have the possibility of unlocking a metro station, which I'll leave till the next episode, because we are slowly but surely running out of time. Now that's a message I've not had in a while, it's the electricity. So let's pause before you guys move out first of all, and it's very much up and down, which is kind of funny, but you get what I mean. I need to go ahead, and we obviously don't have enough power, so you are 150, which is the largest power unit I believe we have. But I'm gonna have to I'm just gonna go ahead and add in another 151 to be honest. And you fit quite well in that gap there, so that is gone ahead and we have got so much extra capacity now for power, so we should be good on that front for quite a while, I'm hoping. So that's resolved that issue, and before we go ahead and wrap things up, who was it that was needing more? Was it, okay, so I'm getting another restaurant, which is good. But is it, I think it's you guys that are still moaning about something, so a greater variety of small restaurants. So are you a small restaurant? That's the real question. So let's close out of you, eating facilities. That's a medium. So these are small restaurants, so I want to go ahead and stick you guys in here. That's what I'm probably going to do, so I'll fit you guys in there. Then I want to go ahead and do medium restaurants, or I could do another large. What kind of restaurant was in there? You're a very, very fancy. I'm not really at all sure what your requirements are. Yours are just near arts and plenty of things. Right, I'm not going to stick you in there because that's going to cause issues. Art is nowhere near this part of town, or part of the building at this stage at least. But if we continue to add in some... Let's just add in a shit ton of small restaurants here, which that'll be fine. We can add a shoe shine or something in there. So that's an extra 4 in there. And the people above you don't worry about smell, which is good. Then what do we want to have in here? That's the real question. I could do a lobby. That's something which we could do. Yeah, let's do a lobby, and that would get art up here as well. So it's really going to attract a lot of people, and it's not going to disturb the people below you either, which is good. So that would work out quite well, yeah. I'm happy with that. So let's jump into lobbies, and let's go with a different kind of lobby. So, build a 2-story glass lobby with metal cross bracing. What do you look like? Kind of smart, I would say. That looks quite modern, I like that. So that works out nice like that. Then we can go ahead and fill in the gaps really. That's really all we need to go ahead and do here. So, let's go ahead and get some more of you guys in here. I'm not really at all sure if there is electricity or water under here. There probably isn't, but I'll go ahead and fill that in very shortly. So this area is going to come quite busy. Now I'm a bit worried about your satisfaction, so we need to go ahead and deal with that as well, and yes, we're having issues. So for the final thing I'm going to do this episode is add water, and do we need gas? I think we do. For some of you need gas, so we'll go ahead and add in gas along there. And what I'm going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is even though we're in the middle of something, I'm going to wrap things up here because I don't want to overextend this episode too long. So in the next episode, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and solve a lot of the issues and finish off this area. I also want to raise the prestige up to 20. Now, one or two things to note is that we will also get, and we've done part of industry diversification, which is good, and we've also reached a population of 200, which is good as well, so we're getting somewhere. Our overall profits aren't as good as they once were though, and that's something which I'm really wanting to go ahead and turn around. Now, I also got a comment, which was quite a few episodes back. I've not actually read the past 3 videos comments, and the reason is because I've pre-recorded a lot of this, just because this is a real game which you can go ahead and do that with, which is fine, but I do understand if you've been mentioning something in the comments for the past few episodes, it's not been implemented. The reason is because I've mass recorded. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching this episode. We are now just about back at 5,000, which is good. Please leave a like rating, subscribe if you are new around here. A new episode of this in 2 days, and I'll see you then. So thank you very much for watching. My name is ConflctNerd Callum, and I'm out.